Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I'm going to show you all the secret ending of Contra Hardcore on the Sega Mega Drive. Or what I like to call the goofy lesbian monkey ending. So let's get started, shall we? Naturally, I'm gonna pick Sheena because Sheena is freaking awesome. There we go. And there's Gruffy McGrayhair telling me what to do, briefing me. Restore order. Oh man, this game. I can pick this game any day and have a blast with it any time. It's probably my favorite Contra game, followed very closely by Contra 4 and Contra Rebirth. A lot of people say this game is hard. Like, the general opinion on this game is that it's really impossibly difficult, and I mean, recently I was listening to the 8-Bit podcast and Alpha Omega Sin was on and said that he was talking about Contra Hardcore. I was like, I'll never beat this game, it's so hard, and I was like, seriously dude? This game is not difficult. I'm just gonna come out and say it, this game is not that hard. In fact, it's mostly boss fights, as you'll see throughout this playthrough. See, there aren't too many foot soldier type enemies, so almost all your enemies are boss-like, and they all have a blind spot which you can pretty much exploit every time. And beat the game every time you put it in. See, the Contra games that are actually hard are the ones that are more random, like Contra 4. In Contra 4 you have lots of like foot soldier type enemies and it's unpredictable, you don't know where they're going to come from. And some of the mini-bosses are also very random, so that's what makes Contra 4 difficult. You need very fast, like, split-second reactions. Contra Hardcore, on the other hand, is mostly memorization and pattern recognition, so this whole game is actually... if you play it maybe the first time, it might be difficult, but once you get the pattern down, you can pretty much beat it every time. There are actually only two parts in this game that are genuinely difficult because they're random, and both of them are fights against Deadeye Joe, which you'll see in a few minutes. After that, I mean, besides those two battles, it's totally a very beatable game. I mean, I can understand, like, for example, maybe a Call of Duty kids not being able to beat this game. But Call of Duty kids can't even beat Super Mario Brothers, so make of that what you will. And I mean that literally. My 14-year-old cousin, who has every Call of Duty and plays Call of Duty all day, he can't beat Super Mario Brothers on the NES. He gets to like World 4 and he's like, this is so hard. But yeah, kids these days. If I'm sounding like an old fuddy-duddy, it's because I probably am, but whatever. Yeah, I was 11 years old when this game came out. I did not have this game as a kid, but my friend at school had it. My friend Jose had it, and he lent it to me. And, I mean, he could not beat this game for the life of him. So I went ahead and borrowed it a weekend. And in that weekend I beat the game twice. And he didn't believe me. He said, no, you're lying. I can't beat this game. I can't get past the third level. So I said, okay, then next week let's go to your house. And said and done, we went to his house and I showed him how to beat this game. We played 2-player and actually I beat the game. He just got killed over and over again. But yeah, I mean, people just make this game out to be this super difficult game, and it's not that hard. I mean, I can think of many games on the Sega Mega Drive that are a lot harder, like Ghouls and Ghosts, and Gyres is a lot harder, Thunder Force, there are lots of much more difficult games on the Genesis Mega Drive, whatever you call it. I'd like to see some IGN employees play this game and probably implode. And those are the same people that when Mega Man 9 came out on the Wii Virtual Console and other services, and they were like, oh, this game is so hard, it's so difficult, it's impossible. And I mean, seriously, have you ever played an NES game or a Mega Man game? Most of these people, all they play all day is maybe Call of Duty or God of War, and those games are ridiculously simplified. So yeah, I can understand those people having trouble with a game like Contra, where you actually need to, you know, have skill, eye-hand coordination, and whatnot. There's Professor Geo Mandrake there. Kinda looks like Professor Schmuckstein. Yeah, you see this part over here, there are some foot soldier-like enemies, and it's a little bit random, but once you get to the end of this corridor, it's just a wall. You climb the wall, empty space again, and another boss fight. Now this next boss is really awesome. It's actually featured on the cover art of the American version of Hardcore, Contra Hardcore. Now these early Konami games are heavily influenced by 1980s and early 1990s American cinema, and no matter how much Hideo Kojima wants to deny it, most of these games are inspired by films like Escape from New York, Blade Runner, Alien, Commando, First Blood. I mean, this next boss, which is going to come up now, is definitely straight out of the Terminator. Now, you see what I was saying about the bosses having these huge blind spots? Pretty much every boss has like an entire area which you can pretty much exploit. You just shoot away without danger of being shot. I mean, some of them move around a little bit, but most of them are. You can pretty much figure out their attack pattern the second time you fight them. So it turns out to be Neumann Cascade, an evil hacker who has a hideout under a garbage dump. Don't screw this up. Yeah. You see, this next part is straight out of Mad Max and the biker gang, and you're shooting the crap out of them. Look at those backgrounds. I mean, think about it. This was a Motorola 68000 processor. It was, even by the standards of the day, the Sega Mega Drive was pretty much bare bones. But look at this game and look how colorful it is. Look how much detail. Blast processing at its finest. And check out this next boss. This is what the Mega Drive had over the Super Nintendo. You could display a lot more sprites on screen without slowdown. You could never get this on the Super Nintendo. Maybe you can make it look nicer with more colors on screen due to the larger palette, but it wouldn't run this well. It would be like Gradius 3 with all that slowdown. Sometimes it helps, but sometimes it's annoying. And look at that rotation. It's just super awesome. Garbage dump. Robot boss. Bam. Alright, now here's the secret part. And who the hell is this character, by the way? I have no idea. Alright. Now take a wild guess who this next character is. Yep. The music will give you a clue. Okay, here comes the last boss, and this is the time rift producing sort of... I don't know how this boss is called in English. In Spanish it's called Asemila. And I remember when I was in Spain, I read a magazine, I actually have that magazine, that previewed this game, and it looked really awesome, and it turned out it really exceeded my expectations. Oh my god. Ouch! It looks like somehow we've gone back in time. Yeah. And there's the several years as before Lesbian monkey action. So yeah, that's the really goofy ending to Contra Hardcore that the programmers decided to include just for kicks. It might be like a throwback to Planet of the Apes or 2001: A Space Odyssey, or it might be just some coke binge induced prank, who knows. But yeah, this is such a great game. I love some Contra Hardcore. One of the best games, not only one of the best Contra games, but one of the best games ever made, period. Just overall a great game. Now, this is what I miss about old games, you know. When I was growing up, when I was like, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, games didn't take themselves seriously. I mean, there are a few games that have like these goofy endings, like Chrono Trigger has a goofy ending if you play it on New Game Plus, and Silent Hill has a goofy ending, and this one has a goofy ending too. And they know that they're just these over-the-top action games influenced by movies, and they don't take themselves too seriously. That's what I miss about these old games. I mean, this game you can just pick it up and play any day. It's simple. One button to shoot, one button to jump, one button to change your weapon, and that's pretty much it. Contra Hardcore. See you next mission. I'll see you next mission indeed. Yep, Hardcore Uprising. Alright guys, that's all for tonight, and see you next mission.